In this video, we're going to talk about setting up an automatic email to somebody who is going to have an invoice due in the next 3 days. Now, when we say automatic email, we mean that the system will automatically send this email out to anybody who actually has an invoice due in the next 3 days. Now, the reason why we like to set up these automatic emails is because it does the work for you, and it essentially reduces your delinquency by actually reminding the student that their payment is due so that they can get the funds within their bank account or on their credit card to ensure the payment processes successfully. So when we want to set up an automatic email, we obviously want to start from the email area within the office. Now from here, what we want to do is we want to look at our primary object along the right. Now the primary object is essentially just where PerfectMIND is pulling the information from. Now right now by default it's on contact. So it essentially pulls everything from the contact area. So if, say for instance, you want to send out like a happy birthday email, this would be the correct primary object. And you can set those up quite easily. In fact, they're already set up for you within the settings area. We do have a video on that. Now in this case, we want to create something a little bit more in depth. So we want to actually pull from a different area. We actually want to pull from the invoice area. So by clicking invoice, now we pull information from the invoice object. So from here, our next step is we want to create a list. So we create a list by simply clicking this plus sign right here. Now we click the plus sign, we see some lists that are already created, like these are our delinquency lists right here. And again, these are accessible within the settings area and there is a video on this. But what we're going to do is we're going to create a new list. So we're going to select new list and we're going to give our list a name. Invoice due in 3 days. Now from here, like I said before, object is going to be invoice. This is where we're going to pull our information from. The field is just the information on the object. So we can go with the field invoice due. This will allow us to choose a specific date for the invoice. Now what we want to do though is we don't really want this date. We want something that actually says it's going to be withdrawn in the next 3 days. So we would go down here to next n days, select this and simply change n to 3. So now anybody who has an invoice due in the next 3 days would receive this email. We have to make sure that we add the criteria here. So we simply click add criteria and now this list is good to go. So from here all we need to do is simply click save. And from here we can see we have 25 people who have an invoice due in the next 3 days. And you're able to view these recipients. You can simply click view recipients and you'll be able to see everybody who has an invoice due within the next 3 days here. So we can go back to the list. Now we can select our list and we can insert it. So we've got our list now so we know who we're sending this email to. Now in the subject line, what I like to do is generally put like a friendly reminder. And from here we could actually personalize this email. We could say hello. And we have these little pens here along the right that merge in information. So this one merges in information onto the subject line. Now my personal recommendation is not to merge information on the subject line. When people see their name in the subject line, they generally think it's spam and they don't open it. So in this case I would go with this pen because this will merge information into the body of the email. So we would simply select this pen. And from here we can merge in information. Now in this case we want to merge in the person's name. So what we can do here is we can simply click right here on invoice and it allows us to pull information from a different area. So by clicking this we can now go to transaction, let the drop down come down, and now we can pull information from the contact. So we click contact and now we can merge in the person's first name. So now it's going to say hello Jim, hello Johnny, hello Betty, and it will merge this information in. And then you could type in the body of your email. You could say just a friendly reminder and so on that your invoice is due within the next 3 days. Now We don't want to just send this email out one time. We want the system to do the work for us. So if we want the system to send the email out every time somebody has an invoice due in the next 3 days, we need to scroll down and change this from no schedule to send when criteria met. Now when we click send when criteria met, it gives us a delivery method. Do we just want this to go one time or every time the criteria is met? In this case, we just want it to go one time. Every time somebody has an invoice due in the next 3 days, the system will email them this reminder. Now, there are times when we would use every time the criteria is met, but this would not be one of those times. Now, the start date. The only thing you have to bear in mind about the start date is it has to be in the future. So in this case, if it's currently 3:30 my time, I would simply just move it to the future. So I could start it from, say, 4 o'clock. As long as it's in the future, it's good. From here, I can change the expiry date. And generally what I do here is I just simply change the expiry date to 2 years in the future. So it'll continue to send this email for 2 years. Now the reminder, it's going to remind us 1 day before the email expires. So should you choose to allow the email to keep sending out, you can do so. And you can change the expiry date. From here, we simply scroll up to the top, check the body of our email over. We have our proper list. We have our subject line, and you would simply click send. From that point on, anybody who has an invoice due within the next 3 days would automatically receive this email.